good morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the time zone today. And what a lovely time we're in the Northeast with the time change. I get longer daylight, and I absolutely love it. And the weather's cooperated, and it's been sunny. So listen, it's day 83 of my 2012 journey, and it's March 12th, 2012 for everybody else out there. I'm going to be continuing today with my guest from last Monday, my friend, GVLOANGUY. And we're going to continue talking as he made a most wonderful video talking about coming on my show. I'm going to look for it here in a minute and post it for the chat room. I did post it out, and it got lots of compliments because it's really cool. If you didn't see it, please check out GVLOANGUY's YouTube channel. And you know you can find it with youtube.com/user/GVLOANGUY. And GV puts out all types of videos. I'm really been enjoying them because he brings both sides, and that's what I like. So I'm going to go back in the chat room a second here and let GVLOANGUY know that he found our chat room, and he can go ahead and call in because I've called in earlier. And I want to find his YouTube video and put it in there. It is very neat. It's his face looks like a flower almost. Talking about coming on and talking some more today. We're going to talk a little bit about Starscream, and GVLOANGUY had done some chatting back and forth with him and video responses to the work Danny does with the Orion Nebula. GV, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning. Do you want to continue on? We were talking about Danny. I'll say I appreciate all the hard work that I know Danny puts into this. It rang out to me from books I read in the 80s. Now,
right.
How are you viewing it? Because you did video exchanges with him.
I did, yeah. Well, like you, I've been subscribing to Starscream233 for many months now, and just following along as he's been developing and enlarging on his main focus, which apparently now is the Orion Nebula, and how that relates to the Catholic Church and spirituality and religion in general. I was listening to a radio show a little over a month ago on the Perfect Mind collision course, and he had Danny on, and I was listening to the show, and something he said triggered a response from me, and I felt like I just had to respond. And it was about the Bible being the divinely inspired Word of God. I think his point was it was written by, or composed, put together by men who deliberately left out several books that were allegedly had the secrets in them that the Catholic Church doesn't want us to know about. Something along that line. And right away, I responded by saying that while it is true that man put together the actual selection of the books to put into what we now know as today as the Holy Bible, the 66 books there, but even though man was involved, I maintain that God is sovereign over man. And he, I believe, used the men to make those decisions. I mean, the men made the decisions, but in the end, I believe it was ultimately it's my opinion that the Bible is the divinely inspired Word of God, which means every word in there is true. Now, Danny agreed with me that the Bible was the divinely inspired Word of God, which caught me a little bit off guard. But then we proceeded to go back and forth with a couple of videos, which Danny periodically sends me a video to watch, and I generally do. And then I feel compelled to respond again. So I got to the point after going back and forth. We had probably 4, 5, 6 videos that we went back and forth. And I appreciate Danny and the fact that he is a gentleman and discusses this subject without any necessarily any bad vibes in there. I don't know how to describe it.
Right. I know exactly what you mean. He's a gentleman while talking about it.
Exactly. And I try to do the same thing because what am I? I'm just a human being, and these are just my beliefs, and this is just my faith. And to me, it's seeking God and revelation and so on is a personal matter. But I do realize that Danny describes himself as a philosopher rather than as a religious person. And so he approaches this as philosophy. So from the standpoint of philosophy, I have personally, my position is on the books of the Bible that I'm bouncing back to that, that the books that were left out of the Bible were left out because they represent they have something in them that contradicts or conflicts with the books that were selected. I don't believe it was a conspiracy to keep the truth from people, but yet that's what Danny and Dee apparently think. Anyway, I'll
be honest with you and say that I probably would fall under that same line of thinking and saying, and I would say, I describe myself this way, GV. Because I'm like, I grew up going to church. I've explained I was from a small town, and via friends, I experienced every church. And when I got older and started expanding my mind, that I said I ended up acknowledging that I'm a spiritual being. I just don't align with a religion. And I, too, felt that when it came to the Bible, that Constantine had men sit down, they chose certain books, and we know lots was withheld. We also know more discoveries have come about in scrolls and books being found, and don't believe that it's right to withhold that information because what we would all share, and I was this way for, over 25 years now, is more of the Hermetics, more of the ancient, and I would run into the problems in my time, of being, called a pagan.
The way I see it as well is that those people that just go to church and expect that they can live however they want during the week, and then go to church and somehow that takes care of business, is absolute folly. And that principle is not taught in the Bible.
Right.
So, and even on the subject of the Catholic Church, I'm no Catholic, and I believe that the Catholic Church happens to be the harlot, and so on. So I don't make excuses for the Catholic Church, and I don't follow the Catholic Church, but I also don't believe that the Catholic Church has the control over the Holy Scriptures, or that the Spirit can't speak directly to me through the Word of God. So
right.
I think that our experience with God is a personal one, and that's where that's where I stand on that. But the thing that I do kind of enjoy a little debate, if you want to call it that, or discussion, and I don't mind having it. I did enjoy the discussions and debates that we had going back and forth with Danny and myself. But then it felt to me like all of a sudden Dee jumped in with Thy Always Seek. Dee jumped in, and now I had two of them kind of sending me messages and videos, and it got pretty aggressive to the point that I felt like I need to back off of this because, I would keep going back and forth. I would keep on producing a video and challenging everything on and on and on, but I also began to feel like I was just giving them an opportunity giving them a platform and an opportunity to just continue to expound on their belief system, and that was not my intention, nor was it my intention to get preachy, which is where I think I ended last week. I felt like I found myself getting a little bit preachy, and I didn't want to do that. I prefer just to enjoy. I listen to the stuff that Danny puts out because I find it interesting, and I don't deny any of it being, existing or being real. I just have a different take on where it comes from and how it relates to this was the other big subject we got into, which was the tree of life versus the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And so we got forth on that one, and we just see things entirely differently. And based on that, I didn't want to just didn't want to keep going. Basically, I stopped and I withdrew a little bit from it, and I'll go back in and check on what they're talking about just to see. But I'm not listening to it because I'm interested in finding the truth or the way or the path. I'm listening because I find it just interesting from a historical standpoint and the origins of religion and spirituality among mankind. So, I've done the research. I know there's lots of comparisons between Horus and the ancient Egyptian lore and Jesus and the stuff, but I've gone back and I've done the research, and I can't find the same comparisons. It takes, to me, it takes more faith, a bigger stretch, to believe the Gnostic way of believing in all of this thing than it does to choose the method and the direction that I have, which is to take the Bible at its word and like that.
It was your personal journey to get there.
Exactly. And I felt like when I was responding, I wanted to put out the side of the story that might help someone that's listening to Danny who might be on the fence or confused about something. Maybe they are a Christian, a true believer, and yet they're listening to Danny and getting confused by what he's saying and portraying. And it was my intention to kind of show that you can see this stuff even as a Christian, and it doesn't have to knock you off your faith, because there is a place for it, and it is in the Bible, and it's been in our history. So,
and I commended you both. I left you both, I believe, comments saying, there you go, wonderful, different views, spoken like true gentlemen with kind words. It didn't matter. Agree to disagree. Bring forth your ideas, and nobody had to be nasty about it. That was the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that wanted to observe it from the outside and get some benefit or just plain entertainment or whatever out of it, that was fine. Fine by me.
Right.